And joining us now on the WashU Sports Network is 2007 WashU grad, former baseball player Arden Farhi. Arden, how are we doing today?
We're doing about as well as we can, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Arden, thanks for joining us. Well, first question for you, Arden. What's Arden Farhi up to these days, and where are you living?
So I'm in Washington D.C. And I've been working from home for the last month or maybe 5 weeks now, and just doing what everyone else is doing. And it is. I feel like it's sort of the least we can do as a family to help. We're so grateful for all the first responders and the doctors and the nurses and the technicians and the people who support all those people. And staying home is not that bad, all things considered.
So where are we working these days? Are we in? You said you're in DC. Who are you working for, Arden?
So I work for CBS News. I've worked for CBS News since I graduated from WashU, about 2 weeks after I graduated from WashU, and I started in New York. And about 6 years ago now, I moved to Washington to cover the Obama administration and then the Trump campaign, and now I cover the Trump White House and do a few other things too. But that's my main role.
So Arden, how did you land this job with CBS News? Because I hear it all started with an internship.
It did. It actually started at WashU, of all places. In 2004, the Bush-Kerry debate was hosted by WashU. WashU's hosted lots of debates over the years. And the school put out an APB to the student body that anybody who wants to volunteer, we need people to help move equipment around, show people how to get from point A to point B. So I said, okay, that sounds kind of neat. And I applied, and I got paired up with CBS of all networks. And for about a week, I was kind of an errand boy. I, got coffee and donuts and drove golf carts around and told people, where Graham Chapel was and how to get to the athletic complex. At the end of the week, I asked one of the producers if he'd write me an internship, a recommendation for an internship, and he did, and I got the internship that next summer. Went back for a second internship the following summer, and after I graduated in 2007, I started working at the mothership in New York at CBS for the evening news about 2 weeks after I left WashU. So, I mean, I joke that it's the only place I've ever worked. I mean, aside from some jobs in high school, it is kind of the only place I've ever worked. And it's going on, 13 years now. So it's been a great place to work. I've had a lot of really awesome experiences.
Arden, I feel the same way at WashU. I'm completing my 19th year in June. I start my 20th at WashU. So when you find a place—
You're old, Chris. You're getting old.
I am getting old. But when you find a place that you enjoy and that you love, and it sounds like you love CBS News, no reason to move on.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I hope to be there for a long time.
So I want to hear about a typical day for Arden Farhi. I know that you travel all around the world, all around the United States. You do a lot of cool things. Pre-COVID-19, what's a typical day for Arden Farhi?
So if I'm in Washington and the president's in Washington, my day is it can vary a little bit, but it's pretty consistent. I'll usually drop my daughter off at nursery school and get into the office around 9:30 or so. There's a couple of morning meetings where we talk about what the big stories of the day are and how we're going to cover them and how we're going to cover the White House, President Trump. And then it can go a couple different directions. There may be a scenario where me and my correspondent I'm a producer, and so I work with the people you see on TV. I'm not actually on TV. So we may be assigned a story in the morning, and we have to figure out how we're going to tell that story. Who do we want to interview? What video do we want to go with it? Eventually we'll write it and then edit it, usually often up until the last minute before it airs at 6:30 on the East Coast. And that's a process that can take from 10 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Or if the news breaks at 5 p.m., we just compress that process down into an hour and a half and get our story on the air. Now, there are other circumstances that arise. So if the president is, let's say he's doing a rally in St. Louis, for instance, we'll generally travel out that morning and get to the arena a few hours before he starts, put together our story for that night, be live from the arena, and cover the rally that usually starts after the news is already aired. Um, there are, the great thing about my job is that no 2 days are the same. The news is always changing. President Trump, you never know what's going to happen. So it is a different experience than covering President Obama. I feel fortunate to have been around this job, this beat long enough to have experienced both White Houses because they are just so different.
So Arden, you got to come back to WashU in 2016 to cover the debate. You used to be a debate volunteer, which we talked about. How cool was that experience in 2016?
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. The biggest shock was, and I guess I say this every time I come back, but seeing just how much the campus has changed. The AC is unbelievable. I mean, it was okay when I was there; it was fine, but now it is palace. You guys got a good thing going there. But no, it was great to be back and see some people that I hadn't seen in a long time, and just sort of be able to be the tour guide. Like, I was with a lot of colleagues, and they're like, "Well, where do we go to get a good burger? Or how do I get to see Brookings? Like, where do I go?" And it was nice to sort of be like, "Oh yeah, well, just head down campus this way, or go down Big Ben, and you'll find a good burger." So that was fun. And, I've been to dozens of debates, primary debates, general election debates. And I realize my own bias here, but WashU really does it first class. It is a really nice production. And there's a reason I think that the debate commission returns to WashU as often as it does, because it's the best setup there is.
So Arden, do a lot of traveling with President Obama, President Trump. How many times have you been on Air Force One in your career?
I've been on Air Force One two flights, both with Obama. I haven't actually been on with Trump, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, you have to sort of keep in mind it's work, and you're working, and you can't just look around and think, "Oh my God, I'm on Air Force One." But there's no doubt it's cool. I mean, the sort of the trappings of it are very, very cool, because it's run by the Air Force, obviously, and you are you're treated very well, and you feel official, and like it's the real deal. And you never know when the president's going to pop back there and want to chat. So it's a heady experience.
How was that first experience on Air Force One? Did you feel like a little kid?
A little bit. Your name plate is on the back of your seat when you get on the plane. And you actually, the first time you go on, you get a certificate that says Arden Farhi has flown on Air Force One, and it has the date. But when you actually fly, I mean, it's like being on any airplane. Just rows of seats, and you're there. But one of the cooler parts was you get off the plane, and I think we flew to there was an Air Force base in southern Oklahoma where we landed, and the event that the president was doing was across the border in North Texas, and it was too far to motorcade, so he choppered from the airport to where the event was. So the press flies in Ospreys, which are sort of souped up helicopters that take off like a helicopter and then fly like a plane, and the back door is open, so you're sitting in this Osprey. It's super loud, and the open sky is right behind you, and there's Marine One where the president is flying by you, and there you go. And it's a good way to get around. I mean, it's a good way to get around.
Kind of like your baseball days at WashU, right?
Yes, exactly. It's how we went to all those schools in Illinois and Western Missouri.
All right, Arden, let's talk some baseball. Obviously, I'm sure you miss baseball.
We miss it.
Yeah, we miss baseball. Tell me about your student athlete experience for 4 years at WashU playing baseball for the Bears.
It's an experience I'm not exaggerating, I think about every day. it was the, I mean, I hesitate to call it the best time in my life, but it really was pretty close if it wasn't the best time. You know, you get to be with your friends all the time, living with them, doing school with them, playing a sport you love with them. Um, there's great camaraderie, and it was just everything was fun. I mean, it was fun to go to practice. It was fun to hang out after practice. It was fun to travel. It was great. I have the fondest memories of it, and I still keep in touch with lots of guys who I played with. We've done Zoom chats over the last month. We do FaceTime. I mean, we're still pretty, you know, the core group of us, we're still pretty tight. So I just, you know, it was a privilege, and I say I wish I could go back, but I would only want to go back with the same group of guys at that time in our lives when we were, you know, 20 years old and in better shape, I guess.
Let's talk about your senior year. Not a bad senior year, 387. The Bears go to the NCAA tournament for the third time. That had to be probably one of your top memories of your college career.
Oh yeah, no question. It was great. You know, I played. I sort of had spot starts here and there my first 3 years, and then my senior year, I was a consistent starter and got consistent at bats. And it was a, you know, a bunch of great guys. I mean, to be honest, I do remember individual at bats because it's how my brain works. I remember pitches, but more than that, the bigger memory is the people who were around and you know, the younger guys, the seniors. I mean, the staff. It was it was a great mix of people, and we maybe we had more fun than we should, but it was great. It was fun.
Let's talk about April Fool's Day, 2007, Galesburg, Illinois. You're at Knox College. You hit the only home run in your career. I had to bring this up because obviously that was a big moment. What do you remember that was 13 years ago on April Fool's?
So I appreciate you bringing that up. I joke when people ask me about my baseball career at WashU. They say, I tell them I played third base. They go, "Oh man, you must have really been a power hitter." And I joke that I'm the only third baseman in, you know, baseball who has one career home run.
That's one more than I have, though, Arden.
Oh,
So,
all right. Well, all right, fair enough. But I remember going to, was it Knox College? Is that, yeah, Knox College. Yeah. And it was such a windy day that they had us, and rainy, that before the game they had us take batting practice in the gym. And I remember coming out of the gym, which was kind of dimly lit, and feeling totally out of sorts because the ball looked weird, the lighting was strange, and I didn't feel confident going into the game. And I got a pitch. I just remember it was a fastball up and outside, which is not a pitch I would normally swing at. Maybe I should have swung at it more. And I just basically put it up into the jet stream. It was just, the wind was just blowing out. And then I hit it. And when I hit it, I was like, that's probably an out. I think I popped out to the center fielder, and it kept going and going and going. And it was, I mean, it was, I don't want to brag, but it was kind of a no doubter. It was gone. And I was coming around first, and said, "Oh," kind of shrugged my shoulders, like, "Okay, I guess that's a home run." Later in the game, I came up, and I think it was a doubleheader, so it might have been the next game, but I hit a ball to right field. Same thing. I swear I just popped it up, and I hit it off the fence. I was like, "What is going on?" So I think the wind really helped with that home run and that double. I don't think I don't think if it were a still day, the ball would have gone anywhere because I never had that much power.
So my question, though, is what was the reaction in the dugout and on the ride home?
I think to be honest, I don't think there was much of a reaction. I think it was like, well, we took 2 games from Knox College and we needed those 2 wins, and we're going to Wendy's because we always go to Wendy's, and we're on our way. That's it. So I don't remember anything about it. I think you might have put it in the the write-up after the game, though, which I appreciated.
Let's talk about Ric Lessmann. You talk
Mhm.
about Wendy's. Ric Lessmann was your coach for 4 years, one of the winningest coaches of all time in baseball. You got to share a good story to our fans, a clean version of Ric Lessmann. Rick is 81 years old, former WashU, Merrimack, and UMSL coach. Share us a good Ric Lessmann story.
So a lot of them I don't think I should share for both my benefit and his. But I do remember the first time. I think it was my freshman year, it might have been my sophomore year, where I finally got a chance to start a game, and you know, you're it's your first time, you're a little nervous, and I was a little nervous, but I was trying to sort of hide it, and I think he picked up on the fact that I was a little nervous, and I might have made an error or didn't take a base when I should have taken a base, whatever it was. I come back to the dugout, and he's on one end of the dugout, I'm on the other end of the dugout, and he goes, "Farhi, you, you." I can't even say the word he said, but he basically said I had an accident in my pants and that I had to come out of the game. So it was not the most encouraging thing you could hear, but he, he he won a lot of games, so I guess you can kind of get away with it.
He was trying to lighten the mood a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. And unfortunately, the whole dugout and most of the spectators heard it also. So what are you going to do?
That's a good one. Arden,
Yeah.
I want to end the interview. I like to do some no hedging questions. I got 6 or 8 that I want to ask you, and
Okay.
hopefully they'll come right off bets. First one, favorite food.
Favorite food? I like Mediterranean food, like Greek food. I'm a big fan of like mezza, tapas, Spanish, Greek, Italian, that sort of region. So that's not exactly one food, but that's where I would somewhere in that neighborhood.
Who's the most famous person that you've met in this 13-year career with CBS News?
I mean, I've shaken hands with both presidents, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that. I mean, I don't know them. They don't know me by name, maybe by sight, but not by name, certainly. But yeah, I guess that would be the answer.
What was your favorite pitch to hit in college? You said it's not up and outside. We know that.
Right. It was middle, like out slightly, so like not outside corner, but a little bit in from the outside corner, fastball. And if I could hit it just to sort of dead center or slightly to the right field side of center field, that was the pitch I could really muscle up on.
Okay, you've told the fans you are not a power hitting third baseman. That's okay.
Not at all. I think I had. You have to check the stats on this. 1 home run and like 7 doubles or something like that.
Okay,
A lot of loopers over the second baseman's head.
Okay, would you rather hit a really hard line drive over the second baseman's head for a nice single, or make a great play at third base?
Oh, great play at third base every day. Every day, great play at third base. That's so much more satisfying to me.
Okay, I'm setting you up here. What's your favorite place in St. Louis to grab wings?
Oh, there's only one answer. McLean's Corner. That's it. That's it.
And I'm going to try that just because of you.
You've never been there?
Never been there.
Oh man, get a couple pounds of wings and you'll be full.
Okay.
And get a burger too. They have good burgers.
All right. Best Ric Lessmann one-liner.
Oh dear. Come back to that one. I'll think of one.
I want to share my best one.
Yeah, please.
I did hear him tell the student athletes once. He says, "Arden, you have a 35 ACT, but 0 baseball knowledge."
That's pretty good. Well, that's good.
Okay, your last one, and then we're going to come back to Ric Lessmann. What's your favorite spot on campus?
Ooh, favorite spot. I mean, the baseball field's kind of a cop out, right?
Right. So what's your favorite spot on campus, not the baseball field?
Right. I guess the Brookings Arch looking out toward the city. That's pretty cool. The other spot that's kind of neat, and it's a little bit hidden away, there is a telescope, I guess, in one of the science buildings, which I always thought was kind of a cool spot. and there's a great balcony where you can see, all the way to the arch. So that's kind of a neat.
That's a good one. I've never been
Yeah.
there. All right. So did we think of that best Ric Lessmann one-liner?
Oh my God, there's so many. You got an arm like a foot. I don't know. I'll make a list and send them to you.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Arden, I just want to say thanks for coming on. Obviously, you've had a great run at CBS News. Enjoyed following you, and really enjoyed when you got to come back, actually, to my hometown of Grant City when Trump spoke, I believe, last year or 2 years ago.
What was the name of that restaurant we went to?
We went to Bendy's.
Yes.
And we had wings, and we did have wings.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
So I just want to say thanks for coming on, and continued success with you and your career. And I hear you have another little one on the way. So congratulations there, and good luck to you and your family moving forward.
Thanks so much, Chris. Nice to see you.